My girlfriend swore her guy best friend was harmless until I found out the truth. So I got revenge. When she found lipstick on my hoodie and I whispered, "Now you know how it feels," she broke down completely. The first time I knew something was off wasn't because she was hiding her phone. It was because she stopped laughing at my jokes and started smiling at his texts. Yeah, I should have trusted my gut from the beginning. But you know how it is when you're in love. You ignore the small stuff. You write it off. You tell yourself you're just being paranoid. That she's loyal. That her best friend is just a friend. God, I was such an idiot. So here's how it started. I'd been dating this girl, Lena, for a little over a year. She was smart, funny, incredibly charming, like the kind of person who walks into a room and instantly makes people feel comfortable. We clicked fast, almost too fast. You ever meet someone and immediately feel like they've been part of your life forever? That was her. And for a while, I really thought this was it. Everything was fine until I met Zane. Zane was her best friend since middle school, or so she told me. According to Lena, they were like siblings. They'd been through everything together, and I had nothing to worry about. He was basically family. Let me just say this. If your partner ever describes someone they text at 1 a.m. as basically family, you need to start worrying immediately. From the second I met him, I could tell the guy didn't like me. He had that smug, passive-aggressive vibe like I was intruding on his territory. Not that he ever said anything directly. No, he played it subtle, just little comments here and there. Like the first time Lena introduced me, Zane shook my hand and said, "So you're the new guy? Huh, interesting. The new guy?" We'd been dating for 9 months at that point. I let it slide. Lena brushed it off and laughed, said he was just teasing. Okay, whatever. But then came the texts. At first it was casual. She'd get a message, smile, type something fast, and go back to whatever we were doing. But then I noticed a pattern. She'd laugh while texting him and never show me what was so funny. The moment I leaned over, her phone would go face down. If I asked, she'd say it was just Zane being stupid. She never smiled like that when she texted me. Still, I didn't say anything. I mean, I didn't want to be that guy, the controlling, insecure boyfriend. That's not me. So I told myself I was overthinking. But the feeling wouldn't go away. And then came the night that really messed with my head. We were watching a movie on the couch. I had my arm around her. She was all curled up into me. And I thought, this is perfect. But then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and immediately sat up straighter, like she'd just gotten a job offer or something. "I need to call Zane real quick," she said. I just blinked. "Right now?" "Yeah, he's going through something." She left the room, took the call in the kitchen, and didn't come back for 45 minutes. When she finally returned, I asked if everything was okay. She said, "Yeah, he just needed someone to talk to. You'd understand if you knew him." But I didn't know him. I knew enough. Enough to feel that I was being played. The next few weeks only got worse. Lena started making excuses not to hang out as much. She was too tired, or had work, or just needed some alone time. Every now and then she'd mention that she and Zane were catching up over drinks, or just going on a friend date. She said it like that too, friend date, like she was daring me to say something. I did. I finally told her how uncomfortable I was, that it felt like she was emotionally checked out, that maybe this friendship wasn't as harmless as she thought. Her response? "Wow, I didn't realize you were this insecure." And then she hit me with the classic, "If you can't trust me, we shouldn't be together." That right there? That's how cheaters flip the script. Make you feel guilty for asking questions. I walked away from that conversation feeling like garbage. I actually started wondering if I was being controlling. But deep down, I knew I wasn't wrong. Something was happening. I just didn't have proof. Yet, I started paying attention. I started connecting dots. She said they were friends. She said I was imagining things. She said I could trust her. But then, one night, she made a mistake. And that mistake changed everything. They always say cheaters slip up eventually. In my case, all it took was one drunk voicemail. And the second I heard it, I knew exactly what I had to do. So let's rewind a bit. After that talk where Lena basically called me insecure and flipped the blame on me, I didn't push it anymore. I acted like everything was fine. I gave her space. Smiled when she mentioned Zane. Nodded when she said she was going to see him. But I wasn't stupid anymore. I wasn't blind. I was watching. And what I saw didn't make me feel crazy. It made me certain. Her phone habits got worse. She was always guarding it, always giggling over messages, and she started putting her screen on Do Not Disturb when we were together. She'd tilted away from me like I was some nosy stranger. And I swear, every time she got a text from him, her whole face lit up like Christmas morning. You know when someone's emotionally checked out of a relationship? That was her. But she hadn't left. She was keeping me around like a placeholder. And then came the voicemail. It was a Saturday night. She told me she was going out with the girls. I didn't ask questions. Didn't even raise an eyebrow. She dressed up nice, not too much, just enough to look effortlessly good, and left around 8 p.m. Around 11:30, my phone buzzed. I looked down and saw a voicemail from Lena. No call, just a voicemail. Accidental, clearly. A pocket dial. I almost ignored it, but then curiosity got the better of me. And I'm so glad I listened. It was short, maybe a minute and a half. But that minute and a half told me everything I needed to know. First, I heard music. Loud bass, people laughing, typical party noise. Then I heard Lena's voice, close, like she was right next to the phone. She was laughing, but not the fake little polite laugh. This was that flirty, breathy laugh. The kind you only use when you're trying to make someone feel special. And then, I heard his voice. Zane. He said something I couldn't quite make out at first, but then Lena said, clear as day. If he finds out, I'll just tell him we're friends like always. I paused the message. Replayed it. Again. Same words. Same tone. She knew what she was doing. She wasn't some naive girl being manipulated. She was in it. Fully. That night, something in me flipped. I wasn't even angry. Not yet. I was just quiet. Cold. Focused. Because now I had proof. Not the kind you show someone to confront them, but the kind that tells you it's time to stop playing defense and start playing offense. I could have gone full scorched earth. Exposed her to everyone. Maybe told her parents. Posted something on social media. But honestly, that would have made it all about her. And I didn't want her to feel embarrassed. I wanted her to feel paranoid. Confused. Exactly the way I'd been feeling for weeks. So I came up with a plan. A simple one. Elegant, really. If she wanted to act like nothing was happening, then so would I. If she could laugh at texts and take secret calls, so could I. If she could lie with a smile, then I could lie better. That's when I called Maya. Now, Maya wasn't just some random girl. She was an old friend, someone I used to work with. Completely platonic, zero history, but we always got along well. And, more importantly, she knew Lena. They weren't close, but they'd met at a party once, and Lena had that, I'm not jealous but I definitely am, vibe around her. I told Maya everything. Played her the voicemail. She was furious on my behalf. Then she asked, what do you want to do about it? I said, I want to make her wonder, just like she made me. And Maya, bless her chaotic little heart, grinned and said, I'm in. That's when the real fun started. We started texting publicly, on Instagram, where Lena could see. Light stuff at first. Inside jokes, a few fire emojis under each other's pics. Then late night calls. Voicemails. Laughing into my phone while Lena sat across the room, pretending not to notice, but definitely noticing. I changed my phone password and made sure she saw me doing it. Started saying, I'll call you back later, and walking out of the room with a smile on my face. Left a hoodie in my car sprayed with Maya's perfume. Left it there for Lena to find. And when she finally did, her reaction wasn't anger. It was panic. She used to call me paranoid. Now she's checking my location at 3 a.m. and crying into her pillow. Let's rewind a second. So, after the voicemail, and after Maya agreed to help, I started slowly shifting gears. I wasn't cold toward Lena. No, that would have tipped her off. Instead, I became the perfect boyfriend, just distracted enough to seem like something was going on, but not so obvious she could accuse me of anything. I turned into her. I started doing all the things she used to do, the texting under the table, the half smiles at my phone, the casual, it's just Maya. She's going through something, whenever Lena asked. I mirrored her word for word. I didn't even need to exaggerate. I just replayed her greatest hits. It was actually scary how easy it was. And Lena? She noticed. Oh, she noticed. At first, she played it cool. Dropped little comments like, you and Maya sure have been talking a lot lately. To which I replied, she's been a good friend lately. Super supportive. And I'd leave it there, vague and clean. But then she got bolder. One night, we were watching Netflix, and I got a text. She saw the name light up, Maya, and immediately asked, are you two, like a thing now? I stared at her. Calm. Unbothered. What? No. We're just close. You'd understand if you knew her. Same exact line she'd used on me when it was Zane. Her face tightened. She knew, not what I was doing, but that the power dynamic had shifted. She wasn't the only mystery anymore. So I kept going. Maya and I started planting things. A lipstick-stained coffee cup left in my car's cup holder. A photo of the two of us at a local cafe, posted to her Instagram story, not mine, with a caption like, "When he remembers your coffee order without asking." No tags. Just subtle enough to cause anxiety without answers. And Lena? She was spiraling. Suddenly, she was texting me during the day, calling more, asking what time I'd be home, offering to pick me up from work, which she never used to do. But I stayed vague. Not cold, not rude. Just emotionally distant, like my mind was somewhere else. Which, of course, it was, right on her panic. The tipping point came about 2 weeks in. We were in the kitchen. I had just taken a shower, and my phone buzzed again. Maya. Lena picked it up before I could. She didn't open the messages, but she looked at the name, and then at me. "You're cheating on me." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. I blinked. "Excuse me. You're being weird. You're always texting her. You don't even talk to me anymore." I put my towel down and stared at her. "Lena, if you don't trust me, maybe we shouldn't be together." That shut her up. You should have seen her face. It was like I'd smacked her with her own words. She started backpedaling. Said she didn't mean it like that. That she was just feeling insecure. That maybe she needed to work on some stuff. "Oh, so now we're working on things." I said I understood. Gave her a hug. Told her she was overthinking. And in my head, I thought, you still don't get it. You're not being cheated on. You're being taught a lesson. I wanted her to feel the itch in her chest at 1 a.m. I wanted her to stare at my texts the way I used to stare at hers. I wanted her to look in the mirror and wonder why she suddenly didn't feel good enough. Maya helped a lot. We kept it realistic. Nothing too sexy. Nothing explicit. Just little things that, when added together, looked like something was happening, but with enough deniability that I could always say, "It's not what you think." And trust me, there is nothing more maddening than that sentence. I started getting home later. Work stuff. Left my cologne in Maya's apartment once and came home smelling like it. Lena sniffed the air like a bloodhound. She didn't say anything that time. But later that night, she cried during sex. That's when I knew. She didn't know what was real anymore. She had become me. She cried when she thought I was cheating. But 2 nights later, I found his hoodie on her bedroom floor. And it wasn't mine. Here's where everything started to unravel. After weeks of this little psychological chess game, of me matching her energy, of Maya playing the perfect other woman, of Lena falling deeper into that panicked haze, I thought maybe she'd confess. Maybe she'd finally just admit what was really going on between her and Zane. She didn't. Instead, she played innocent harder than ever. She started cooking dinner more often, hugging me randomly, leaving notes in my lunch like we were in a damn high school romance movie. It was desperate, like she was trying to patch a boat that was already halfway underwater. And I just watched, played along, waited, because I knew, at some point, she'd slip. And wow, when she did, she really did. So Lena had this little weekend getaway planned with her college friends. They had this annual tradition of renting a cabin, drinking wine, doing some hiking, and catching up. I'd never been invited. Ever. Which was fine, until I learned that Zane was going this year too. Funny, he never went before. So I asked casually, "Zane's going now?" She paused. "Yeah, well, he's closer with the group now. You know, since we've all been hanging out more." I nodded. "Right. All of you." She smiled. Too hard. She left Friday afternoon. Gave me a kiss like nothing was wrong. Told me she'd barely have signal and would probably be offline for most of the trip. Cool. I didn't text her once. Didn't even check her socials. Because I knew someone who would. See, I had a friend, not Maya this time, someone else, who used to be part of their college circle. She wasn't going on the trip, but she still followed a few people in the group. I hit her up and just asked, "Hey, anyone posting from that cabin trip?" She sent me a screenshot about 20 minutes later. It was a private story. One of Lena's friends had tagged her, nothing obvious. Just a boomerang video of a fire pit, some drinks, and a bunch of people laughing in the background. But there, right in the corner, was Zane. And sitting next to him, too close, with her head on his shoulder, Lena. That alone could have been enough. But then I noticed something else. There was another post. This time from Zane. Just a photo of his hoodie draped over a chair with a caption. "She's always stealing my clothes." He didn't tag anyone. Didn't need to. I knew that hoodie. He wore it the night I met him. I said nothing. I didn't text her. Didn't call. She came back Sunday night, all smiles, acting like the weekend had been peaceful and wholesome. I helped her carry her bag inside. She threw it on the bed while she went to take a shower. And that's when I saw it. Zane's hoodie, folded neatly in her bag. I picked it up, stared at it for a minute, and just smiled to myself. She got out of the shower about 10 minutes later, hair wet, in a towel, humming like nothing was wrong. She walked into the room, saw me sitting on the edge of the bed with the hoodie in my hands, and froze. She didn't even try to lie. It's just a sweatshirt, right? That's why it smells like cologne I don't wear. Silence. So how long has it been going on? She wrapped the towel tighter, looked down. I don't know. You don't know? It wasn't supposed to happen. There it was. The confession. The one thing I'd waited to hear for weeks. So you did sleep with him? No answer. She just sat down and started crying. I didn't comfort her. I just stood up, hoodie still in hand, and said, "Funny. You really thought I was cheating on you." She looked up, red-eyed and confused. "Wait, Maya." I smiled. "Nope. Maya's just a friend. But you didn't believe that, did you?" I tossed the hoodie at her feet. She whispered, "Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you stop me?" And I said, "Because I wanted you to feel it. The suspicion, the doubt, the constant knot in your stomach. The same way I did every time you smiled at your phone and told me it was just your best friend." She begged me to stay, said it was a mistake, that she didn't want to lose me, that she didn't even know why she did it. And that was the thing, she did know. She just thought I'd never find out. But I did. And now? It was my turn to decide how this story ends. She screamed, "It wasn't real." And I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Neither was mine." So let's talk about that moment. I just dropped the Zane hoodie at her feet. She was sitting on the edge of the bed in a towel, tears running down her face, shaking like someone had just yanked the rug out from under her. Which, to be fair, is exactly what I did. Only difference is, she's the one who laid the rug down in the first place. Now, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't ask her why she did it. I already knew why. Because the truth is, people don't accidentally fall into each other's beds. They make choices. She chose to lie. She chose to gaslight me. She chose to protect her little emotional affair with Zane like it was sacred, until it wasn't just emotional anymore. And now she was here, unraveling. She stood up suddenly, like something inside her snapped, and she started talking. Fast. Desperate. The kind of rambling that's 10% truth and 90% damage control. It didn't mean anything. I swear. It wasn't even good. It was a mistake. I was confused, and you were acting so cold and weird, and I didn't know where we stood. I raised my hand. "Lena, stop." She froze. Silent. I sat back down, leaned forward a little, and looked at her. Not angry, not broken. Just tired. "You want to know the real reason I was acting different?" She nodded, slowly, almost afraid of what I'd say next. "Because I knew. I knew weeks ago. About you. About Zane. About all of it." Her mouth opened like she was going to lie again, but I didn't give her the chance. "You left me a voicemail that night. Remember? The girls' night? You accidentally called me and left your phone recording for over a minute." Her eyes went wide. "I heard the music. I heard you laugh. I heard you tell him. If he finds out, I'll just say we're friends like always." Boom. Direct hit. Her knees actually gave a little, like she forgot how to hold herself up for a second. She whispered, Why didn't you say anything?" I looked her dead in the eye. "Because I didn't want to confront you. I wanted to teach you. I wanted you to feel what I felt every time you looked me in the eye and lied to my face." She blinked fast, trying to put it all together. "So, Maya." I smiled. "Maya's a friend. Nothing more. Always was." Her voice cracked. "But the texts, the perfume, the phone calls." I shrugged. "You saw what I wanted you to see. That constant, nagging feeling in your chest? That paranoia you've been drowning in for weeks? That was the point." She looked horrified, like she'd just seen herself in a mirror for the first time. "You manipulated me?" Now I actually laughed. For the first time in a while. "No, you manipulated me. I just gave you a front row seat to your own show." She started crying again. The messy, open-mouthed sobbing kind. Said she hated herself. Said she didn't want to lose me. Said she'd do anything to fix it. I didn't yell. Didn't insult her. That would have been too easy. Instead, I stood up, walked over, and placed her phone in her hands. "You can call him now. Or you can delete his number. Makes no difference to me. She looked up, mascara streaked across her cheeks. What are you going to do? Me? I'm gonna go stay with Maya for a while. Are you serious? No. But now you know how it feels. I grabbed my overnight bag. It had already been packed in the trunk before she even got home. She followed me to the door, asking over and over again, "Can we talk? Can we just talk? Please." And I turned, once, before stepping out. Looked her in the eye. You already did all the talking. The lying. The justifying. I just listened. And now I'm done. Then I left. No drama. No final fight. Just silence. And sometimes, silence hits harder than 1,000 screaming words. She said she made a mistake. I told her. So did I, staying this long. Let's fast forward a little. It's been a few months since the night I walked out of Lena's apartment, dropped that truth bomb, and never looked back. No dramatic texts. No late-night calls. No desperate voicemail apologies. Okay, scratch that. There were a few voicemails. 3, to be exact. All deleted without listening. And no, I didn't go running to Maya. She and I are still friends, and when I told her the plan was over, she laughed and said, "So, I'm off the hook for pretending to date you." I told her, "Unless you want to make it real." She rolled her eyes. We never made it real. And that was fine. Because this whole thing, it wasn't about falling for someone new. It was about finding myself again. See, when you're stuck in a relationship where you're constantly being made to feel like the bad guy, for having instincts, for asking questions, for noticing red flags, you start to lose your grip on reality. You start second-guessing everything. And when you finally see the truth, it's not rage you feel. It's clarity. And damn, clarity is powerful. Anyway, back to Lena. I hadn't heard from her in a while, which honestly felt like a win. But then, one day, I got a message request on Instagram. Not from her. From Zane. Yup. He sent me this long, fake deep monologue about how things got out of hand, and he never meant to hurt anyone, and that he and Lena had cut things off because they realized they were better off as friends. Better off as friends? Bro, you were never just friends. You were a backup plan with benefits. I didn't even respond. Just blocked him and went about my day. A week later, Lena texted me for the first time in months. Said she missed me. Said she was in therapy. Said she realized she sabotaged the best thing she ever had. Said she'd made peace with what happened, but just wanted to talk, even if we couldn't go back. You know what I did? I didn't scream. I didn't type a 5-paragraph essay. I just replied with one sentence. I hope you find the same peace I did. Then I blocked her number. That's it. No fireworks. No victory lap. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing that I never have to question her again. Never have to wonder who she's texting. Never have to explain why I felt uncomfortable around a friend. I'm not saying I'm some genius mastermind. I'm not. But I learned something through all of this. Sometimes, revenge isn't about destroying the other person. It's about walking away so calmly, so cleanly, that they're left to destroy themselves. And Lena? She's doing just fine. Still posting thirst traps on Instagram. Still hanging around the same circle. Still liking her own photos like that's going to fix what's broken inside. But me? I'm at peace. I sleep better. I laugh more. And every time someone talks about that one ex who messed them up, I smile. Because I didn't just survive her. I beat her at her own game.